Warm welcome to one and all for the fifth session presentation. Subject Strength of Materials. Code is 18CV32. Chapter Bending and Shear Stresses in Beams under Module 4. The course outcomes are typical, same for all the sessions. It is to analyze and understand the different internal forces and stresses induced due to representative loads on the structural elements. So now we derive an expression for transverse shear stresses in the beams. So earlier the sessions it is related to the bending stresses and the numerical problems on the bending stresses. Now we come across the transverse shear stresses acting on the cross section of the beam, which are tangential to the cross section of the beam. So we know that when the beam is subjected to external loading, the bending moment and shear force will vary across the cross section. Also, we know that the bending stress act longitudinally along the linear axis and its intensity is directly proportional to the distance from the neutral axis. So now we consider the effect of shear force in the form of shearing stresses acting tangentially to the resisting section as shown in this figure. So here the force is the acting tangential to the cross section of the beam. Consider a cantilever beam having rectangular cross section. This is the cantilever beam. So fixed at one end and free at the other end. If the beam is cut at any transverse section, I cut the beam at this transverse section, then the bending moment and shear force are to be applied at that section in order to maintain the equilibrium. So because of this force, it is coming downward and this is moving upward. This is the force is the acting downward and moving upward. When I apply the equilibrium condition, the summation V is equal to 0. Algebraic sum of forces acting on the beam is 0. So two forces are acting upward, two forces are acting downward. The sum of the upward force is equal to sum of the downward force, or the total algebraic vertical force acting on the beam is 0. That condition is called as equilibrium of condition. The bending moment is distributed across the depth in the form of the longitudinal direct stress. So when the moment is acting, the stresses will be induced in all the layers of the beam along the length of the beam, along the longitudinal fibers of the beam in the form of the direct stress that is given as F is equal to m by A into y. This has been already done. And the shear force and the force acting tangentially to the cross section is distributed in the form of the shear stress. These are all the shear stresses acting over the cross section of the beam. They are acting tangentially to the cross section of the beam. Here the intensity of shear stress is not constant from top to bottom. So again, as the depth varies, the intensity of stress is also varying. So it is known that the shearing stresses are always accompanied by the complementary shearing stresses in the longitudinal planes parallel to the axis of the beam. Hence, in order to determine the intensity of the vertical shear stress which are acting tangential to the cross section, the intensity of longitudinal stress is to be determined. So here consider an elemental length between the section AA and BB. So consider one elemental length. This is section AA and this is section BB, and consider an elemental length separated by a distance dx. separated by a distance dx as shown in the figure. When it is loaded with uniform distributed load, the shear force and the bending moment vary at every point along the length of the beam. As you know in the chapter shear force and bending moment, when the beam is subjected to the loading condition, the cross section of the beams all along the length will develop both shear force as well as the bending moment. Both are unbalanced one. So let here M is equal to bending moment at section A. Let M is equal to bending moment at the left section A. Therefore, M plus dm is the bending moment at section B, since the length will varying. As the distance varies, the bending moment also goes on varying. Similarly, if you consider shear force at section the AA as F at section F AA, therefore the shear force in the other direction will be the F plus dF at section BB, since as the length varies, shear force also go on varying. So now let I is equal to moment of inertia of the section about the neutral axis, and let Fb be the F suffix B be the intensity of bending stress across the section AA. Let the small f be the intensity of bending stress due to the bending moment at section AA at a distance of y from the neutral axis. This is the distance is y, stress is acting in this fiber. Let the small a is the cross section of the strip. This is the cross sectional area of this elemental strip. This is small a is this is the elemental strip over the cross section of the beam. So it is the width is B and depth is dy, B into dy. We know that from the Bernoulli-Euler bending equation, the intensity of stress in any fiber is given by the equation F is equal to m by I into y. This is the intensity of stress at section AA. Similarly, F plus dF is equal to m plus dm divided by into y is the intensity of across the section BB, where F plus dF is the intensity of stress across the section BB. Now force acting on the section AA. Force acting on the section AA is nothing but, as per the definition of stress, it is the ratio of force, magnitude of the force to the cross sectional area. So from that on, force is equal to stress into area. Stress is equal to F, and A, the small a is the cross sectional area, nothing but B into dy. So you can substitute in the equation F is equal to into A. So again, so F is equal to m by I into y into area is equal to, so B into dy. Finally we arrive at m by I into A. Similarly, the force acting across BB is equal to m plus dm divided by into y plus A. So therefore, the net unbalanced force on the strip length dx with dx and width b and thickness dy is given by the moment at the force on the section BB minus the force on the section AA. So that will give rise to dm divided by into y multiplied by A. So nothing but the first part is the force acting over section B minus force acting at the section A, because so this force is acting in the upward direction, this force is acting in the downward direction. Therefore the total unbalanced force, therefore the total unbalanced force on the strip length dx would be above the neutral axis. About the neutral axis is nothing but we have to integrate the above equation between the limits 0 to d by 2, whereas d is the total depth of the beam. Since the cross section is rectangular cross section, therefore the distance of the extreme fiber from the neutral axis will be d by 2. So in order to get the total unbalanced force above the neutral axis is obtained by integrating this above equation between the limits 0 to d by 2. Here dm and the IR, the constant, it has been taken out, and y and a is the variable, nothing but, so dm divided by into 0 to d by 2 y into a by a, you will get that. So dm is equal to I into a into y bar. Capital A is equal to whole area, and the y bar is nothing but the centroidal distance from the neutral axis, where y is the distance of the centroid of the area and the neutral axis, distance between the centroid of the area and the neutral axis. A is the area of the beam section above the neutral axis. The capital A is nothing but the area covered by the section above the neutral axis, and y bar is the distance between the centroid of the area and the neutral axis. So this force is resisted by the shearing stresses acting horizontally on the plane BB. Let the intensity of the shear stress be tau and is acting on the area B into dx. It is acting on the area B into dx. So therefore we know that the tau is equal to total force divided by area. Stress is equal to total force divided by area. So force is equal to, so we have got the value as force is equal to dm divided by into a into y divided by area is equal to b into dx. So since, so this is the breadth and this is the elemental area, b and this is the area, dx is the b into area, the dx. Nothing but you can f is equal to a into y bar into, you can get I into b. This is the expression for shear stress which is acting the tangential to the cross section of the beam. Now we derive some of the shear stress distribution diagram for the regular sections. The first regular section is one rectangular section. So statement of the problem: show that the ratio of maximum shear stress to the average shear stress in a rectangular section is equal to 1.5 times when it is subjected to transverse shearing force. So or 3 by 2 when it is, the ratio equal to 3 by 2 when it is subjected to a transverse shearing force. So first draw the rectangular cross section having breadth small b and capital D. Now we have to draw the neutral axis. For that one we have to locate the centroid of the section. So this rectangular section is symmetrical about horizontal as well as vertical axis. Intersection of these two axes will give rise to the centroid, and once you trace the line passing through the centroidal line, so that trace is called as the neutral axis or the cross section, and so it is equally dividing the depth, so d by 2 on either side, bottom as well as the top. So now consider A is equal to area of the beam portion above A, shaded area ABCD. ABCD is the shear area. So it is area of the beam portion above Y. Y is, this is the distance, is Y is the distance. Above this Y, ABCD is the shaded area. This has been taken as capital A is equal to, this distance is B. This distance is B, and this height is equal to d by 2 minus y. Total d by 2 minus y is the this height. B to D or A to C height is nothing but d by 2 minus y. And also the y bar is nothing but, y bar will be coming here. Y bar is the half of y plus d by 2. Half of y plus d by 2. Again we have to take the half portion, half of this y by 2. We know that the shear stress at this junction, we know the shear stress at the junction is given by the equation F is equal, tau is equal to capital F into A area multiplied by the y bar divided by I into B. So substituting the value of the area is B into into bracket d by 2 minus y, and y bar is equal to this much. We'll get that the 2i. So f is equal to, substitute the values, we get that finally the shear stress is equal to f into d square divided by 4 minus y square divided by 2i. So from the above equation, so depth of the beam is constant, depth of the beam is also constant, the shear force acting at that particular point, particular section is also constant, moment of inertia is also constant. Only variable is y is varying. As y varies, so the shear stress will be 0. So here y is in the negative form. So when the y decreases, when the y value comes to 0, shear stress will be the maximum. When y is the d by 2 means extreme fiber, this will become 0, stress is 0. It means that the shear stress is 0 at the extreme ends and is maximum about the neutral axis. The equation itself is the mathematical expression. So relates that the d is constant, I is constant, the force acting at a particular section is also constant, whereas y is the only variable. As y varies, the stress is also varies. When y is minimum value of y will be 0, and the maximum value the y will be extreme fiber d by 2. That is what y, as y increases, tau, as y decreases, tau increases. Nothing but at y is equal to d by 2, at y is equal to d by 2, tau becomes tau minimum is equal to 0, and at y is equal to 0, nothing but about the neutral axis, tau is equal to tau maximum is equal to tau about neutral axis. So the variation of shear stress is parabolic, and the maximum shear stress occurs at the neutral axis. Since the variable is y and the power of the variable is 2, therefore it is a parabolic curve. It is not a linear straight line. So in the previous part, the bending stress, the power of y is only 1, therefore it is linearly varying. Here the power of y is equal to 2, therefore it is parabolic variation or curve. So now we can write down that tau maximum is equal to, at tau maximum at the y is equal to 0, will get that 3f divided by 2 bd, substituting the value here. Also the average stress, tau average here, f divided by bd. So this is the general formula. The force divided by area is the definition, as per the definition of stress, average or mean stress, force divided by bd. Now if you take the ratio of the tau maximum to tau average, so we will get the value as 3 by 2, or the shear stress maximum or shear stress about the neutral axis will be equal to the 1.5 times the average shear stress or mean shear stress. Now another one more, the regular section. So shear stress distribution for the solid circular section. So again we can derive one formula by taking one same as a problem statement. Show that the ratio of maximum shear stress to mean or average shear stress in a solid circular section is equal to 4 by 3 when subjected to transverse shearing force. So here consider a circular section, having diameter small d, Let AB be the section at a vertical distance y from the neutral axis on which the shear stress has to be determined. So let's consider the strip. So at a distance, strip area at a distance of y from the neutral axis, where the intensity of shear stress has to be determined. That width of the strip AB is equal to, we get that small b is equal to under root r square minus y square plus r square minus y square. So this distance is we are taken as small b, and this is one more right angle triangle, this is one more right angle triangle. So this distance is we are taken it as, and all are radius here. We can apply the Pythagoras theorem, and you can find out that this is equal to under root y square minus y r square minus y square, and this part is also equal to root of under r square minus y square, and the total is equal to 2 times this one. So that we have got here nothing but 2 times under root r square minus y square. Area of the strip, what is area of the strip? A is equal to b into dy. Since so here this is the dy, breadth is 2 times this one, and the thickness of the elementary strip is dy. So area is equal to 2 times under root r square minus y square multiplied by the dy. The moment of this strip about the neutral axis, nothing but area multiplied by distance from the neutral axis. So this is the area. So 2 into under root r square minus y square is the area multiplied by its perpendicular distance as per the definition of the moment of this area. This is the area, and it is at a distance of perpendicular distance of y from the neutral axis. Is given by this is the area, this is the perpendicular distance. We will get say this one as equation number 1. Now the moment of the whole shaded area about the neutral axis may be found out by integrating the above equation between the limits y to r. So if you want to find the moment of this whole area about the neutral axis, we have to integrate the above equation between the limits 0 to r. R nothing but the radius are 0 to d by 2, both are same. Here now the moment of the whole shaded area about the neutral axis may be found out by integrating the above equation between the limits y to r or over r y to d by 2. So a into y bar nothing but so y to r 2y into this one. So we will get that this one, you say it as equation number 2. So we know that shear stress on the layer AB is given by the tau is equal to F into AY divided by IB. So where F is the shear force at the section, it is the force, B is equal to 2 under root r square minus y square. This F is the shear force acting on the section, and B is the width of the strip, 2 times the under root r square minus y square. So I is the moment of inertia of the circular section about the neutral axis. So we already studied that the moment of inertia of a circular section about the neutral axis will be pi d to the power of 4 divided by 64 in the moment of inertia chapter under the engineering mechanics subject. Now this will gives to, now if we squaring on both sides, we will get it as b square is equal to 4 into r square minus y square. So this equation b is equal to 2 times under root r square minus y square, squaring on both sides. We get that b square is equal to 4 into r square minus y square. So differentiating on both sides, we get this equation. So y into dy is equal to minus, so 1 by 4 into b into db. So substituting the above value in equation number 2. So we can substitute the value of in the equation number 2. We get a into y bar is equal to, so integral of y into r, b into bracket 1 minus 1 by 4 into b into the db. We will get that say 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4 integral of y to r b square into db. So we call this one equation number 4. So referring from the geometry of the figure, so we can see that this figure. So B will be maximum, the breadth of the section will be maximum when the y is equal to 0, when y is equal to 0. So similarly, when y is equal to r, when y is equal to r, when y is equal to r, breadth B is equal to B, and when y is equal to r, when y is equal to r, width B is equal to 0. So when this will goes, when the strip will be the converging to this point, nothing but when y is equal to r, the breadth of the strip will become 0. Therefore, the limits of integration may be changed from y to r to b to 0. So, a into a bar is equal to minus 1 by 4 into integral of b to 0 b square into db. So, now the negative sign is there. If you interchange the limits, it will become positive. 1 by 4 into 0 to b square into db, nothing but b cube divided by 12. We got the value of the moment of that area about the neutral axis. Now, substituting the value in the equation number 3, we get that tau is equal to f b square divided by 12i. So b square is equal to again the r square minus the y square divided by 3i. So thus we can see that the shear stress increases as y decreases. Again here the radius is constant, force at a particular section is also constant, moment of inertia at a particular section is also constant. Therefore, the only variable is y is variable. As y decreases, this value decreases. Means when y is equal to 0, stress is maximum and is about the neutral axis, and y is equal to r, stress is 0. Means at the extreme ends, the shear stress is 0, whereas coming towards the neutral axis from the extreme ends, the shear stress is maximum. At point where y is equal to r, tau becomes 0, and at point y is equal to 0, tau becomes tau maximum or tau about neutral axis. So the variation of tau with respect to y is parabolic curve since the power of y is equal to 2. So here the power of y is equal to 2. Therefore, the variation of the stress distribution is the parabolic one or curved one. So when you put y is equal to 0 and I is equal to pi d to the power of 4 divided by 64, we got the value of the tau maximum is equal to this much. So nothing but the tau maximum to tau average will be given by 4 by 3, or tau about neutral axis to tau mean will be obtained as the 4 by 3. Nothing but here we got the value after substituting, we got the value in the form of 4 by 3 f divided by pi d square divided by 4. From the definition of stress, force divided by area. The force is f acting and area of the subsurface section is pi d square divided by 4. Now consider the shear stress distribution diagram for the I section. Here the consider a beam of I section as shown in the figure. Let capital B is the overall width of the section and capital D is the overall depth of the section. Similarly, small d is the depth of the web and small b is the thickness of the web. So this is the web portion. The breadth is overall breadth and overall depth capital D, and the width of the web will be small b, depth of the web will be small b. So shear stress on a layer yy at a distance y from the neutral axis is given as by the equation tau is equal to f into a y bar divided by b. This is the general expression for shear stress at a layer yy at a distance y from the neutral axis. So there exists two cases. The first case is y is greater than d by 2, small d by 2, means it is the section is lying in the flange. Another one is y is less than d by 2 and the layer yy is in the web portion. So first coming to the case 1, y is greater than d by 2, that is the section yy layer is in the flange portion. This is dotted line, the hatched portion, that is the sectional line I shown it as, it is lying in the flange portion. Therefore the shaded area of the flanged portion is equal to, this is the shaded area. So b into bracket d minus capital D by 2 minus y. This is y, this is capital D by 2. Capital D by 2 minus y is the depth of the section above yy, and breadth is capital B is constant. Centroidal distance of the shaded area from the neutral axis is equal to y bar is equal to, this is, here is the centroidal distance of this with respect to neutral is equal to y plus half of this portion, half of this height. So half of the capital D by 2 minus y. So now equation 1 becomes, substituting all the values we get that. So f y bar into divided by 2y into d square minus 4y minus y square. This is equation number 2. So from the above equation number 2, again it is diameter is constant, f is constant, 2 is constant, I is also constant, only the y is variable, and also the power of y is equal to 2. So we see that tau increases as y decreases. So shear stress will increase as y decreases. Also the variation of the shear stress with respect to the y is parabolic curve, since the power of y is equal to 2. As you know that as the power of the variable power is 2, therefore the variation is parabolic curve only. At the upper edge of the flange, that is when upper edge, top edge is nothing but y is equal to capital D by 2. Shear stress becomes 0. So it is when we put y is equal to capital D by 2 at the upper edge or upper portion of the flange. So we get that, so tau is equal to 0. At the lower edge of the flange, at the bottom of the flange, y is equal to small d by 2. Y is equal to small d by 2 will get the shear stress is equal to f divided by eta into bracket. So capital D square minus small d square. So now coming to the second case, y is equal to, so the layer y is the less than d by 2, means this is the portion yy section is lying in the web portion, it is less than the d by 2. D is the depth of the small d is the depth of the b, y d by 2 is nothing but the half portion at the central distance. So section yy layer is the web portion. The meaning of y is less than d by 2 is nothing but the sectional layer yy is in the web portion. Now the shaded area capital A is equal to A1 plus A2. So A1 is equal to the top one flange and next one is the only hatched portion. What is b into d by 2 minus d by 2? This distance, this is nothing, this height is nothing but capital D by 2 minus small d by 2, breadth will remains constant, plus small b is the width of the web and the area is nothing but d by 2 minus this area is nothing but so d by 2 minus y. So here the moment of the area about the neutral axis will be given by area into y bar is equal to a1 y1 plus a2 y2. So after this one we get the value. Now in equation 1, when you substitute this value in equation 1, we get that shear stress is equal to, this is the final value. So this part is, first part is constant, so already we got the value, and second part is variable in between the small d by 2 to 0. It is minimum value is 0, maximum value is the d by 2. Thus in the web portion also we see that shear stress increases as y decreases. Again it is negative here. When it is less, shear stress will be more. When it is maximum, shear stress will be the 0. And the variation of tau with respect to y in the web portion is also parabolic curve. And at the neutral axis where y is equal to 0, shear stress is maximum. Here this is the neutral axis. It is when y is equal to 0, the tau becomes tau maximum. So at the neutral axis where y is equal to 0, shear stress is maximum. Therefore maximum shear stress is equal to tau maximum is equal to tau n is equal to this much is the answer. Now the shear stress at the junction of the top of the web and the bottom of the flange, that is at y is equal to d by 2. Here we got the shear stress. We want shear stress at this point also. There are two shear stresses. One is shear stress with respect to the capital D by 2 is the one is their condition, second one is d by 2 for the first condition. Again for the second condition it is the d by 2 as well as 0. So when you put y is equal to small d by 2, we will get the shear stress at the junction. So again here the distribution of the shear stress is shown in the stress distribution diagram. This is the cross section of the I section, and this is the stress distribution diagram, and these are the two edges. These are the two edges. So here the stress is 0, because when y is equal to d by 2, capital D by 2, it will 0, and when is equal to y is equal to small d by 2, I will get one value, first value, and again at the same value we will get y is equal to d by 2, and is stress is maximum about the neutral axis, and this variation is the parabolic variation, and this also is parabolic variation, this also parabolic variation, since the power of variable is 2. So this completes the shear stress distribution over rectangular section, over the I section, as well as over the typical sections. So thank you one and all.